because I want to talk to him about, he's going to talk about meeting etiquette and all the crazy stuff that go along with that and how to really pull one of these things together. And that is super, super exciting because what we're going to do is throughout the United States and the world, we're developing a culture and an organization. I love the fact that there's a kid in here. How old are you, kid?
I'm 11.
11 years old. Okay, good.
Aww.
That's really exciting. What is your name?
Casey.
Come on up here. I want to talk to you.
Oh, yay.
How are you, man? What's going on? What's your last name? Really? How, you're 11 years old? When were you born?
2007.
Okay, you're 8. You're only 8 years old. Huh? I know, I give money to kids. That's what my whole deal is. That's why we do multi-level marketing. I give money, right? So did you want to come in there?
Yeah.
You did? We'll give them the money back. That's exciting. And why'd you want to come?
I want to learn about it.
Really? Wow. Good. You take vitamins?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You make money off of taking vitamins? Okay, so your mother's going to teach you that. You know why?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. It's going to be very exciting because you're going to go to school and say, you know what, I take vitamins, I feel much better, I'm jumping higher, I'm running faster than any of you because I take vitamins.
Yeah.
And the moms and dads and the other kids are going to say, wow, that's pretty exciting. Where'd you get the vitamins? You're going to say, from my mom. Then those parents are going to call your mom, right? And say, we want our kid to be like Casey, right?
Yeah.
And your mom's going to say, and they're going to say how to do it. Your mom's going to do that. Those people are going to buy the vitamins, and your mom's going to cut you in on the commission. You got that done? So forget that speech of Scott's. All you do is walk in and jump higher, run faster, be smarter than anybody else in the school, and you don't have to say any words because that will be action speaking louder than words, right? Okay, no cuss words, no smoking, no tobacco, no drugs, no alcohol, right? Go. Why did my parents tell me that? All right, thank you very much, Casey. So I just got schooled by an 11-year-old. That kid, he was more comfortable up here than I am. I swear, that kid is unbelievable. You gotta cultivate that. All right, good. Do you have any idea who I am, Casey?
No, I have no idea.
All right, well, good. That's even better. I'm gonna have to butter that kid up and impress him with some of my possessions or something, because that did not go well. All right, good. Next speaker. I was at a traffic light this morning, and I was in a big hurry to get here. And so I ran a light, of course. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I did. I ran a light. And I did not know what was going on. And all of a sudden, the car next to me is like honking. And as I'm pulling out, the car's just honking like crazy. And I didn't realize I wanted to get here on time. I was so adamant about getting here on time. I ran the red light because I could not be late. And it was Fardulis is at the red light that we're following the laws. And I was getting the dirtiest look from Juliette Fardulis you've ever seen in your life for breaking this law. And I'm going, God, that's Juliette Fardulis. How could she be so mad at me? Because she does things by the book. She's very, very organized. I just watched her over there in her chair. She's got all her notes. She is like preparing and preparing, and she's got the yellow highlighter, and she's just practicing her words because she's so adamant about doing this thing in 18 minutes. I'm so excited about what she's got to say. She's coming up here right now. She's the mother of Sienna, of Blake, and Ashton, the 3 children. And she's also the wife of Scott for very, very many years. And it's really, really cool because it's biological. There's no marriage and mixed family here. It's just these 2 kids married since they were young children, making their life in network marketing. It's absolutely exciting. Let's have Juliette Fardulis up here.
Wow, that was a phenomenal intro. My talk is about how to get your mojo back, and I don't think Tom needs to work on his. The book I'm going to reference is this one. It's called MOJO, How to Get It, How to Keep It, and How to Get It Back If You Lost It. And the author is Marshall Goldsmith. He also wrote another book called, which I haven't read, it sounds good, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So if you're at a place in your business where you're feeling maybe that you've been around a while and you just lost your spark, this is a really good book. I really recommend this one. And I'll just give you some highlights of it that tie into the business. It isn't exactly about our industry because it's about corporate America. So there's sections in here where you're going to say, wait a minute, we don't have competition in the workplace where we're trying to get ahead of our coworkers and any of that. So that's a refreshing thing that we don't have to deal with as network marketers, which I love, because we don't get ahead unless we help our team. That's why we're here. That's our whole MO, our MOJO MO, right? So the book goes through the fact that the word mojo, it originally came from a voodoo spell. That's where it started, where the supernatural powers of voodoo, they would have a little small cloth or a pouch, and that was referring to mojo. And we don't use it that way anymore. Now it's a positive spirit and direction, especially in sports and business. We talked about getting your mojo back. You might say you got your groove back, or you're in your flow. Have you heard of some of these words? Or you are in the zone, especially in sports, you'll be in the zone. And so the author breaks it down and talks about what he defines it, and he's thought about it a long time, and he came up with this phrase, that mojo is when it's a positive spirit that starts from the inside and radiates to the outside. And it's when there's no gap in what the positive way that you perceive yourself and the positive way that others perceive you. So you're completely authentic. So don't we want to be there when we're in our network marketing business? Be completely authentic, not be fake, completely from the heart, and that is like Tom, very charming. When you're able to win people over by just being yourself and having that authenticity. So there's 4 ingredients that he says that have to be present for you to have really great mojo. And it's your identity. Who do you think you are? Not who do you think others think you are, but who do you think you are? And as network marketers, I think that's really important to nail down and really think about it, because there's the fact that we face rejection when we present the opportunity to someone, and that can chip away at our self-esteem if we hear no here and there. No one likes to hear no. And so the fact that we are grounded in who we are is really important to have established, so that if you hear no, you can tell yourself, maybe they're not saying no to me, maybe they're saying no because they have insecurities, or who knows the reason that they're saying no. It could be timing in their life. Denise went through that beautifully last month when she went through the different cycles of our lives. And if it's not the right timing, then it may not be the right timing for that person because of what's going on for them. And don't write them off. You can always come back to them later. You never know if they'll come back into your team when the timing is better. So your identity is number 1. The second ingredient for great mojo is achievement. What have you done lately? And it may not be in the business. It could be personal achievement. So something that you, maybe a hobby or a accomplishment that has made you feel good about yourself lately. And so there's personal mojo and professional mojo. And both of those can give you that sense of achievement, which can carry over into your networking business, because you'll feel like, hey, I can do things well. For example, I used to play the piano and put it off for a lot of years, just felt like I didn't have time. And in the last year or so, I've been practicing a lot more. So I play the piano at least 10 minutes every day. And which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do that every day, you can really start memorizing some pieces. And I play classical piano. So I really had that sense of achievement by being able to not rely on the music, because I don't play by ear, I read the music. So to not have to have the book means that I could go to play anywhere, and the pieces that I've memorized, and that gives me a personal mojo when I nail it, right? If you're a musician, you know what that feeling is. So there's personal achievement. Then there's the third thing is your reputation. What do other people think about you? Mm-hmm. And that's something that to some extent, of course, you can't control. And in fact, you might not even know. You don't know what they're saying about you when you're not there. And so we have to kind of not hold ourselves too harshly on that stance, but know that everything that we do is going to contribute to that. And the fourth one is acceptance. What can you change and what's beyond your control? So if something is really ruining your day, if it's something you can't change, then let it go. That's a really great mantra to have, is just let it go, because it's just robbing you of your joy. Okay, then so what is the opposite of mojo? It helps to sometimes think of the alternative, the other side of the coin. And I think the author is really clever. He calls it nojo. That would be no joy. So MOJO is, here's some pros and cons for MOJO versus NOJO. So we have MOJO, take responsibility. NOJO, play the victim. MOJO, this is a tongue twister. MOJO, move forward versus NOJO, marching in place. MOJO, run the extra mile. NOJO, satisfied with the bare minimum. MOJO, love doing it versus NOJO, feel obligated to do it. MOJO, I appreciate opportunities. NOJO, I tolerate requirements. MOJO, make the best of it versus NOJO, endure it. MOJO, inspirational. NOJO, painful to be around. Grateful versus resentful. Curious versus uninterested. Caring versus indifferent. I like this one. Zest for life versus zombie-like. And awake versus asleep. So successful people, they really need about 5 variables according to this author. I'm sure we could think of others, but he says health. We've got that covered with our products and our health message and Dr. Wallet's mission. Wealth, that's our whole reason for doing our business, is to establish wealth so that we're not experiencing not having abundance in our life. And then relationships and happiness and meaning. And so he says that there's a paradox in your MOJO if you feel like you're stagnant, and that is that sometimes we can fall back into a place of inertia, just status, not much is happening. And that's our default response in life. So in other words, he says that our most common things that we do all the time, the most common result of what we do all the time is to keep doing the same thing. So he says the most reliable predictor of what you'll be doing 5 minutes from now is what you're doing right now. So definitely here, you're sitting and looking at me. He says I have 10 minutes. In 5 minutes, you're going to be sitting and looking at me. So we know that for sure. But let's say you're reading a book or you are surfing on the web. And the most reliable predictor of what you'll be doing in 5 minutes is same thing. And that's the inertia of it. So sometimes he gave an example. I don't watch TV, but it's sometimes sports are on in our house. So if the TV is on, and let's say the game finished, and instead of changing the channel or turning it off because you're done with that game, you leave it on and you keep watching mindlessly, and the next thing comes on and you don't even care about that. But it's on, and we're just in emotive inertia. That's his point. So he said that there was a study of 250,000 respondents who go to self-help type seminars to find out, do they really change from going to the self-help seminar? Who really modifies their life and changes after that? And the conclusion after interviewing 250,000 people was that very few people achieve lasting change without follow-up. And so that's really important for our business, that we see this, we get sparked up, we get jazzed up, and if we don't have follow-up and accountability, then we really are just going to be seminar junkies, and we don't want to do that, right? We want to make an impact and make a difference in our life. So he says that, let's say, if you don't change your behavior, you're not becoming more effective, then if you have someone like a coach or your mentor or your upline sponsor who is caring about you, asking how you're doing, asking about your progress, asking about your highs and lows for the week, then you'll want to put some change into effect instead of just being one-man island. And if you don't have someone like that, or maybe it's an area of your life that's not the business where you've lost your MOJO, you can create a way to check up on yourself. And he calls that be a change agent just for yourself. And so, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but you can go on his website, and it is, I think it's called mojothebook.com. Yes. So there's a survey there, mojothebook.com, and you can take the survey. You can see how you rank on these items on getting your MOJO back. sometimes it takes something really dramatic to get our flow back or get back into the zone. He gave an example of a friend of his who was in sales, and then he had throat cancer and he lost his vocal cords, so he couldn't talk anymore. And so he couldn't do sales anymore. So he was forced, because he was in a young place in life, he had to do something to make money. So he started selling golf clubs in the 90s online, when it was brand new concept to sell things online, and he made a great living doing that. But it took something very dramatic to be that instigator. So he says, we don't change unless we are compelled to change. Until then, most of us are prisoners of inertia. And so I think we need to dig our well before we're thirsty and build this business alongside of whatever else our career or our job is, because we don't control that part of our life. But we can control how much we build this. What we build up here is what we can control. And so this author, he's also a success coach, and he has all kinds of clients. And he said for years he focused on changing people's behaviors. And then he realized when he got older in life that he should have been helping people change their identity, not their behavior. Because that way you can be that authentic self, and you can change. You can become a better person by your behavior. And he gives the example of Bono from U2, my favorite band. How many of you love them?
Yes.
We went to their concert when we were dating in San Francisco, Scott and I. We were just little children, according to Tom, but we were 20 at the time. So we saw them at the concert. It was incredible. Anyway, he gives the example of how, Bono he's not doing as much music, but now he is a big philanthropist. So he went to Africa in the 80s and raised lots of money for famine victims there. And so he became a philanthropist after being a rock star. And a lot of times when actors or musicians change their focus into something different, like being humanitarian, the public doesn't like it. They want you to stick to what they know you as. And so he did a good job of changing his identity. And we can do that here. We can change our identity if we're not happy with maybe your past reputation. You're not stuck with it. You can change it, and you can recreate yourself and go reconnect with maybe a past hobby, like I mentioned, or you can just recreate your whole persona. And this is a great place to do it here in longevity. And we can also destroy our mojo, he says, by being worried about the past or anxious about the future. And that can rob us of enjoying the present. He talks about the great American disease, which is not being able to enjoy what we have because we're so worried about getting to the next step, keeping up with the Joneses, and not being able to fully enjoy all the blessings that we have manifested in our life at the present. We fixate on the future at the expense of enjoying the life that we're living now. And there's nothing wrong with setting goals, or else we would never achieve anything. It's just we need to also at the same time appreciate what we have. And then also important is forgiving people when they've wronged us. This can rob our mojo if we don't do this. And usually we're pretty forgiving to our family. They're gonna get a lifetime free pass. We forgive them if they hurt our feelings because they're our family. And really we need to be doing that with all the people that are in our circle of influence. We need to give them grace. So remember all the good things. So for example, I love Tom Chanel. And if he says something kooky that hurts my feelings, I'm not gonna cut him out of my life. Day one. But the example, the author said this happened. He said that he was interviewing someone and he said, "Oh, don't mention that person." He said, "Well, why not?" He said, "They're dead to me." What did they do? And he said, "Well, they had a business meeting and they didn't invite me. And I knew that because of that contact. And so I'm never speaking to them again." And he said, "Well, you're really carrying this weight. Is it over that? Is it worth it?" So his point was to just be forgiving, and it will release a lot of the anxiety that we have in life and get our mojo back. And one other thought is asking yourself, this is how he completes the book, is, now you don't need to read it, see? But ask yourself, to get your mojo back, if you have kids, do you want your children to be happy? Yes. Do you want your parents to be happy? Yes. Do you want people who love you at home to be happy? Yes. And do you want people who respect you in your life to be happy? Mm-hmm. Of course. So he says, you go first. You be happy first. That's the key. The people that love you want you to be happy too. So just make that choice. It's a decision. And then remember that mojo is the positive spirit that starts from the inside and radiates to the outside.
Nice.
Right,
Can you put the book on camera?
Oh, the book, yes. There's the camera, folks. This is the book. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
How about little Juliette, man? I've known her since she was just a little